I saw them in a bunch of movies and stuff. And I always thought to myself, I wonder what the Yakuza are all about. It seems like it's about time to find out. Tonight, Japan's most infamous gang gets deep. Fat fried, bitch.
I just want to say to the Yakuza in advance, I do not want to do this episode. Please just kill TJ instead.
Let me tell you something, Scotty.
Just kill TJ instead. Leave me alone.
Every man here, Scotty, me, you, and Paul, we could take every man here single-handedly. Any one of us.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think
One thing I learned in my research of the Yakuza, bunch of weak little bitches.
Right, sure.
You're in trouble
what you
now,
learned.
dude.
And if anyone out there knows any Yakuza, you free to fucking show it to them. Let them know. I, TJ Kirk, say the Yakuza are a bunch of little pussies. And Scotty and Paul back me up on that 100%.
No, we don't.
Anything they say to the contrary is but a joke.
Nope.
Privately, when the show wasn't, when we were fucking not recording, they were like,
We were butt fucking.
Man,
Jesus.
we were butt fucking before the show. You know? Remember that, Scotty?
No, I don't. I took a fucking fat shit before the show.
Yeah, these
That's what I
guys, speaking of butts, man, I mean, this dude don't have much of an ass, but what little ass he does have, he is showing off.
Well,
Yeah.
he has to. He's got a whole tattoo thing going on.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a tattoo tunic.
I say they should be totally naked.
did. You only get you have to be the senior guy to actually work.
What you
clothes.
wearing all this shit for? Let it flop out. Let's
I
see
think a
what you
couple of
got.
these guys are stuffing their diapers too.
Oh my God, yeah, totally.
I think a couple of these dudes have got a couple of rolls of socks stuffed off in
You know how
them
you know?
diapers.
Because all of their dicks are the same shape. It's like always like, you know,
Yeah.
they have like the same shaped dick.
Yeah.
You know, none of their junk is off to one side or the other. It's like all perfectly like tucked into this like quadrant here where they're just like,
Apparently, it's like a tourist attraction. People are taking pictures and shit. They're like, "Oh, look, the Yakuza."
well, like my understanding is that in Japan, pretty much no one has tattoos except for Yakuza.
Oh.
Now, maybe that's changed. Maybe cultural mores have changed since I
You have
heard
to
that.
believe that.
but-
I mean, more Japanese people have it than besides the Yakuza.
I mean, it's like a pretty well-known Yakuza thing there. So a
Sure.
lot of people probably wouldn't
Well,
want to do it for being like,
I've heard
I don't
the
want to
thing
be mistaken for a
I've heard
Yakuza
the thing
because
about-
that'll harm
Yeah.
my prospects and, you know,
I've
work
heard the thing
and
about
shit.
like the bathhouse where like if you have tattoos, they won't let you go unless you cover them
Right.
because it's basically a ban on Yakuza coming to these bathhouses.
Right. And it's just known that in Japan, it's Yakuza who have tattoos. So a lot of people were probably pushed off for that reason. I think there even might be some legislation on the books against it. We know it's like open discrimination in a lot of institutions and businesses against it.
Sure.
But anyway, let's learn about these fucks, huh? You want to know about these guys, Scotty?
All right, everything I need to know, TJ.
What do you know? All right, well, you just do the episode. I ain't going to bother telling
All
my
right.
research. You just tell
The
me about
fucking
them.
Yakuza and shit, dude. It's some crazy motherfuckers.
What do they do?
They have gang wars constantly. They
Mhm.
fucking run like they have a bunch of scams. There's this one Yakuza scam where they get some dumb tourist into a bar, like, yeah, come in this bar, it's great. Yeah, have some drinks, it's great. Guy has a couple of drinks, gets loosened up. Oh, you know what? It's time for you to go. all right, he's been lured in by some, hot chicks or whatever.
Yeah.
Time to pay your tab. All right, here's my tab. What's $100 or something? Or, I don't know, fucking with yen, but 10,000 yen. It's like, no, you owe us basically $500. You owe us $1,000. You owe us $1,500. And you're like, well, I'm not going to pay this. Then two fucking Yakuza guys show up and yeah, you are going to fucking pay, or we're going to fucking, or some bad shit's going to happen to you. We're going to fucking kill you, whatever.
Yeah, we're going to cut your belly open.
So
in
you
gutter.
fucking, they basically lead you to an ATM and you have to take out a bunch of money. So the credit card's not going to work. Because you think about this, and they can just call up and be like, oh, they made me do it. They can tell a story. So they make you pay a bunch of cash and they fucking basically roll your ass out. Don't come back here, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. They do that. That's cool.
They run a bunch of scams. They do a bunch of legal shit.
What else they do, Scotty?
I'm pretty sure they're involved in all kinds of shit, dude.
What else they do, Scotty?
I'm sure they smuggle
Tell
guns,
us more, expert.
Probably smuggle drugs. I mean,
No.
drugs are very expensive in Japan.
They don't do any of those things, Scotty.
Human trafficking.
What I know is they're also involved in a lot of nationalist shit in Japan, too.
Here's what they do, Scotty. They sit around on the street corner in their diapers and they play fucking tiddlywinks, Scotty.
Damn.
Episode over. No.
Dude, did you guys see this fucking email we just got?
From the Yakuza?
Dude, yeah, it's I'll read it to you if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Go ahead.
To the dishonorable TJ Kirk.
How'd they find out so quick? I haven't even put the episode out yet.
I don't know. It goes on to say your decision to cover the most honorable Yakuza in your latest episode was most unwise.
Shit.
Your family and your family's family for generations will feel the sting of the Yakuza's blade.
God damn it. I made an enemy of the
Are you
Yakuza
fucking
now.
serious, TJ? So now I'm included in your bullshit.
Yeah, because you're part of my
fucked
family.
Scotty over. Yeah.
Yeah.
you did. The fuck, TJ?
Man.
You
This isn't a fucking
dishonorable
joke
piece of
anymore,
shit.
TJ.
Now I gotta go to Japan and kick the shit out of a bunch of Yakuza.
No, now you gotta
It'd
make
be
an
like a whole
episode
movie.
called "The Most Honorable Yakuza," TJ, and you're gonna fucking
maybe
praise
they'll-
them
Maybe they'll like
for an hour and a half.
Maybe they'll decide they like this episode.
Maybe.
Maybe it'll portray them in a flattering light, and they'll
All
be
right, we'll go
like, you know
with it.
what? Not
Fuck.
so bad. The Yakuza, also known as the Gokudo.
Gokudo. Whoa. Okay.
Which means the extreme path.
Extreme.
All right. Originated in Japan during the Edo period, or I think it's actually pronounced Edo period, which was from 1603 to 1868.
Idiot.
This period ended with the fall of feudal Japan and the rise of the Japanese Empire. Members of the Yakuza are from Japan's lowest social group.
If you're
the
going
Takeya.
to correct yourself on Edo, you may want to correct yourself on Yakuza right now.
Yakuza. I like to say the Yakuza because that's like how it's said in every 80s movie that I
Yakuza.
like featuring the
Yakuza
Yakuza.
are showing up here.
It's the Yakuza. Everybody look.
Like I said,
Yakuza.
Right there's
Look,
the Yakuza.
I'm aware of these people not as actual human beings, but as a cinematic convention. And in the movies, they're called the Yakuza, so I'm sticking with that. The Takeya. They come from the lowest rung of Japanese society, basically.
peddlers. I mean,
They're actually they actually come from two social castes. They come from not only the peddler class, but also the gambler class, which I guess is even like a lower rung of society.
Did I say that? I mean, peddlers are pretty annoying. So, I mean, I'm not, for oppressing any groups or anything, but I could see why the peddlers ended up at the bottom.
They
I'll
have
just say
their
that.
own fucking class.
Yeah, the peddler class.
Well,
Well,
it's not like, they're like peddling wares, though, right? They're not like
Merchants of some kind.
So the Takeya would travel from place to place, setting up portable stalls at markets and festivals. They were highly structured with a oyabun, which is the boss at the top, and kobun members at the bottom. The oyabun was seen as an adopted parent, and the kobun were seen as foster children. Unquestioning allegiance to the oyabun was mandatory, or consequences would occur, which we'll explain a little later.
Okay.
You will hear about the consequences. In the 1700s, the Yakuza began organizing into families, and group members united with each other for mutual protection. They began to control booths at fairs and markets and developed a reputation for shoddy merchandise, deceptive salesmanship. They also played a role in Japan's gambling tradition. In the 1800s, the Yakuza began to modernize. They recruited members from construction and dock jobs and even began to control the rickshaw business. Group members became involved in politics, taking sides with certain politicians and officials. They cooperated with the government so they could get official sanction or at least some freedom from the government.
Dude, the rickshaw. So they work just like organized crime does, dude. They went after like public transport and like, you know, like different like public utilities and shit, and started taking over.
They just find
you see this a lot in like just throughout history when you create like an underclass, like a certain group of people who are just like, you are born to be beneath. Usually that's where organized crime comes out of, because it's like, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, a modern one in America would
no
be
one
like,
wants to be low man on the totem pole. So,
well, like, you know, all the Italian mafia would have all these garbage routes and shit like that. It's like these little niches these people are adjacent to, so it's like really easy to get into it, like gambling. Oh, the government, or it's not really sanctioned, but people can go and gamble. So of course, like, there's a money. Basically, it's just capitalism. There's money to be made. People are going to fucking fill the niche.
So in the 1900s, during the American occupation of post-war Japan, the Yakuza were seen as basically the primary threat to the American occupation, because they were well organized and they operated with a lot of support from some of the official government officials who, of course, were not too keen on Americans being there.
And they have long ties to government.
Right.
Certain politicians with certain political views. So, if, like, they're obviously an important support group to some people in the government of Japan.
But as a result of that, between 1958 and 1963, the number of members of the Yakuza increased by 150% to about 184,000 members.
Everybody wants to be a gangster, dude.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
So approximately 5,200 Yakuza gangs operating throughout Japan began to stake out their territories, and violent gang wars occurred. These gangs controlled many businesses, engaged in sophisticated gambling and loan sharking activities, invested heavily in sports and other entertainment. They also became involved in drugs, money laundering, smuggling, pornography. The structure of the Yakuza is described, and the involvement of the Yakuza in business and politics in contemporary Japan is discussed. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. So you may think that the Kobun are a bunch of orphans or something along those lines. That's not the case. If you join the Yakuza, you must cut all ties to your traditional family and swear to give loyalty to your new father, the Oyabun. So basically, you want to join the Yakuza, you gotta give your... flip the bird to every fucking family you've known up to that point. That's not your family anymore. Now the Yakuza is your family, and your boss is your fucking god.
I mean, it makes sense for a criminal organization to do this, because, like, it's honestly the weak point of a lot of these organizations is like, well, your family will kill your kids, will make you do this. It's like, there's no leverage over you if you're like, fuck those people.
Yeah. So you got to swear off any fucking sort of connection to anyone you might have that's outside of the organization. It's basically like, if you're in, you're in. You're full fucking force into the Yakuza. You're not going to visit your mom on weekends or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
No.
It's also worth noting that women can join the Yakuza, but it is extremely rare.
Only
almost never
masses of women get to join, right?
I mean, knowing that they're allowed to join, but it's very rare, I would probably be more scared of a female Yakuza than I would a male one, because it's like, that bitch crazy. Like, she's fucking made it in this fucking space where, you know, it's kind of implicitly forbidden, if not explicitly. So the Yakuza have 5 main rules. Rule number 1, as you might have gathered, is treat your oyabun or boss with respect. So it's very hierarchical. Whoever your boss is, complete and utter loyalty, no fucking questions, no fucking talking back, none of that shit.
I mean, in theory,
you obey.
Because, I mean, obviously, you know how a lot of these gangs, how people move up in gangs.
Sure. Don't steal from the poor or the everyday man. This rule is apparently rarely followed. It's just kind of, it's on the books though, you know? That's one of our rules. We don't actually listen to it because we couldn't make money if we didn't, but
sounds nice.
Number 3 is don't disrupt the clan's harmony by causing internal conflict. So don't be a shit stirrer within the group.
Yeah.
Don't fucking play politics. Don't try to turn everybody against each other. No one likes that shit. Fuck
that
you.
shit has got to be a rule and just everywhere now. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
It's a solid one. Never involve yourself with drugs, aka don't get high on your own supply.
Well, I mean, that's just wise.
So, some Yakuza actually take this to the point of, like, there's certain sects of the Yakuza that will not deal with drugs at all. And there's certain ones that are just like, you can deal it, but don't fucking do it.
Sure.
And then number 5, always behave chivalrously. This basically applies towards fellow Yakuza. This is not like treat everyone in the general public with chivalry. This is like when you're with your brothers and shit, respect, basically. So number 3, which was don't disrupt the clan's harmony by causing internal conflict, is a little odd, maybe, considering that the Yakuza do claim to find honor in violence. It is said that to a Yakuza, every conversation is the beginning of an argument. They will get physical. They will do physical violence against anyone who they feel transgresses against them, using fists, swords, knives, baseball bats, even bicycles, as we see here. This guy is being attacked by a bicycle-wielding Yakuza.
Dude, he must have fucking popped off and said some stupid-ass shit to get beat by a bicycle. You know what I mean?
I mean, apparently Yakuza are fucking known for their short fuses. You don't fucking go and mouth off to no Yakuza. You do that, you get fucked up pretty fucking quick. They don't tolerate disrespect.
I can almost guarantee you that's not another Yakuza on the ground there, though.
Probably not. So, what are some consequences if a Kobun disobeys his Oyabun? Let's fucking find out.
Probably some brutal shit, I would imagine.
Cutting off the pinky shit, yeah. I've seen this.
So you can see the pinky is cut. The pinkies are both clipped there. If a Kobun disobeys his Oyabun, he must atone for the transgression. Yobitsumi, or cutting off the ends of one's fingers, is a preferred form of punishment by the Yakuza. To do this task, one puts down a small, clean cloth and lays the hand onto the cloth facing down. Using an extremely sharp knife, the person cuts off a portion of his little finger above the top of the knuckle, on the finger, or the tip of the finger. He then wraps the severed portion in a cloth and submits the package very graciously to his Oyabun. The punishment is intended to make the punished more dependent on the clan, as the amputee will not be able to use a sword and other weaponry properly ever again. So basically, you fuck up, you show too much disrespect, you got to fucking chop off the tip of your own pinky to the point where you can't even hold a sword right anymore, and very graciously present it to your boss like, here, boss, here is my cut off pinky. I am sorry for my transgression.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to hold a lighter like that, and it's difficult.
This guy must have fucked up pretty regularly here.
This dude fucked up a few times.
Yeah.
This guy, he didn't learn the lesson quickly, He was a hard-headed motherfucker. Because, it looks like... he's been through this at least 3 or 4 times at this point.
Hey, he's got a problem with authority.
Yeah, you don't fucking... Hey, they don't push me around. Fuck you. This is a example. No need for volume in this. This is an example of a Yubitsume being shown in a movie. So we can look at the finger cut here.
This is Black Rain.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before.
I want to see the finger
it's
cut.
It's a Ridley
here.
Scott movie.
Is he gonna do it or what? There we go.
And he's got the cloth.
Got the knife.
Oh man, I don't want to watch this shit. I don't want to see him cut his pinky off. Don't do it, guy.
Ooh.
All right, it doesn't actually show it, but you see the setup of it.
Yeah.
All right, and then he wraps it up in the bandage. He puts it over there and he offers it up. And it's like, yeah, okay, now we're good.
It's like, sorry, Oyabun. You can have my
sorry,
pinky.
I was a dick. But, you got to do it right in front of him with his little business associates sitting around too. Like, all right.
Yeah, everybody's smoking cigars. They're like, oh, we got one of these today? All right, come on in. Yeah.
Come on in. Yeah, all right, chop your pinky off. All right, thank you. let that be a lesson to you. No more disrespect.
I mean, this probably works pretty well. I would imagine, like, keeping most people in line within the gang structure and shit.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably like not exactly you're probably not exactly gonna be too upwardly mobile in the organization once you got a fucking missing pinky.
Yeah.
It's probably like
you're
that kind of
super
fucks your
badass
prospects a little bit.
Like, that sounds like a redemption story, you know what I mean? Started as a lowly scum that pissed off his Oyaban, but he rose up through the ranks and became the fucking pinky master, you know what I mean?
So there's 3 major clans within the Yakuza.
The Yakuza?
Yakuza.
The Yakuza.
Yazuka. A little dyslexia setting in there. So this is the Yamaguchi Gumi, the largest clan of the Yakuza with more than 8,200 current members. Its origins can be traced back to the labor union for dock workers around 1915. They currently mainly control Kobe, Japan. Their main crime focus is big crimes like weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, and human trafficking. A lot of trafficking.
Trafficking, their favorite activity. Well, docks.
And this is their cool like logo here, I guess. Check it out.
Neat.
You also have the Sumiyoshi Kai. Sumiyoshi Kai is the second largest clan in the Yakuza, with around 4,200 current members. It was founded in 1958 as the Minato Kai by a former supreme leader of a defunct clan. They currently control Kabukicho and Ginza, Japan, where they mainly run protection rackets for the various shops in the area. Although that's pretty much coming to an end, as we're going to go over later in the episode. Their main crime focus is protection rackets and basically just harassing the citizens for money, figuring out different shakedowns.
Sure.
Doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun to be around. And then you got the Inagawa Kai. This is their crest here. The Inagawa Kai is the third largest clan in the Yakuza with about 3,300 members. Their origins can be traced back to 1949, where almost all of its members derive from the Bakuto, which is like the traditional gambling class in Japanese society and illegal gambling. They currently control the Kanto region. The first region in Pokemon is also called Kanto region, and the game corner where players can gamble is in every main version of the game featuring this region. So basically, this is like a town that's associated with gambling, kind of like maybe like America would be in like Las Vegas would be in America.
Cool. The Japanese Vegas.
Yeah, but their
Do they
gaming
have like
is
a
all
Japanese Joe Pesci running around and like a Japanese fucking.
Would
you know
Japanese Joe Pesci just be like unnaturally tall?
I don't know.
Or would it be even shorter?
Even shorter, dude.
But this is basically like it's known for its illegal gambling industry. So maybe I don't know if there's legal gambling in Japan, but the Kanto region is basically known for its illicit gambling.
Right. Sounds like a fun place.
Another thing, of course, the Yakuza are known for is their tattoos, which we got into a little bit earlier. This is some of their tattoos and like the general meanings of them. Like the koi fish usually is associated with good fate and prosperity because it can, surmount waterfalls and move against the tide. The ever popular fucking dragon.
I mean, of course.
The Japanese see dragons as patrons and guardians of humankind. Dragon tattoos signify courage, enlightenment, and durability. Plus, a dragon just looks badass.
I mean, yeah, dude, who's not going to want the dragon one?
Like you just look cool with a fucking dragon tattoo.
I'm not trying to get a fish if I could get a dragon.
Yeah, if you could be like, I'm going to get a fish that's head looks like a fucking cock, if we're really being honest. That looks like a dickhead, does it not?
It does.
Yeah. The koi fish, yeah, not the one I would go for.
Get you a fucking dragon, get you a samurai fighting that dragon. Another popular... The phoenix, of course.
That's cool as fuck.
Mystical bird, despite being consumed by fire, takes rebirth from its own ashes. In order with the story of the Phoenix, this tattoo symbolizes resurrection, victory, and ardor. It is a familiar motif in Yakuza tattoos. The myth of the Phoenix appeared in Japan through China, as did many other features of Japanese culture. They're calling Japanese culture derivative. This article is offensive.
Damn.
You got the snake. Seems like a downgrade from a fucking dragon, but hey, snakes have the benefit of being real, at least. Snake is viewed as the epitome of regenerative power and a symbol of good health. So basically just like, I'm healthy and regenerative,
Dude,
bitch.
I'm a healthy Yakuza.
Look, my health is fucking impeccable, bitch. Also, basically connected to knowledge, divination, powers of the cosmos. So there's like a mystical fucking element to it as well.
Of course.
Samurai, of course. Popular fucking tattoo design. Basically, samurai tattoos denote the principles of Bushido, precisely the way of the warrior. The code emphasizes honor, bravery, integrity, and proper execution, deeply rooted in Buddhist and Confucian principles. Yakuza have embraced multiple opinions from Bushido and acknowledge themselves as guardians of ancient Japanese tradition. Cherry blossoms.
Oh, man,
See?
no.
See, this seems like a downgrade.
Yeah, you're gonna get cherry blossoms.
Maybe I'm a little too stereotypically masculine on this one or something, but I feel like samurai, snakes, and dragons upgrade from a cherry blossom. Their evanescent nature and short-lived lifespan signify life itself, which in classical Japanese dogma is little more than grass hovering in a swiftly swirling brook. Once sakura falls from the tree, they're disseminated by the breeze and rainfall and thence vanish from the surface of the earth. So I guess this is like supposed to be a reminder of the ephemeral nature of existence or something.
It says, although that life is passing, it's still full of colors and beauty.
Wow.
So you're like that. This is for like the emo Yakuza.
Yeah. So if you ever fucking cornered by a bunch of Yakuza and you need to fucking kick the shit out of one to like send a message to the rest, be sure to pick Flower Boy.
Yeah.
It's probably going to have the easiest time.
Oh, cool.
This is cool.
Oni, yeah.
Oni masks. Oni is ogres or fiends that dole out grisly penalties to the sinister. Massive and terrifying, ordinarily painted with blue or red skin, unrestrained white hair and fangs. They operate extensive spiked clubs. They can transform at will. They cause disease, insanity, and death. Their ideal diet consists of human flesh. Thus, the Oni mask tattoo exemplifies the execution of behavior principles and doling out discipline. Oni is perceived to intimidate villages, breed social degeneration, and recognize as reincarnations of particularly malicious people which harmonize with the Yakuza lifestyle.
Nice. So this is like
the message you're sending out with
Yakuza.
this is like, I'm a badass motherfucker, and if you fuck with me,
so just like if you're surrounded by Yakuzas and you need to attack one, you want to go after the flower guy, you might want to stay away from the Oni guy.
But you know what? They usually wear suits and shit, so you're not going to know who's the Oni guy and who's the fucking cherry blossom dude.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what if they're coming after you and you like challenge them by stripping your shirt off and revealing your fucking, Snoopy tattoo or whatever on your belly?
Whatever tattoo you got.
I've got a Snoopy tat.
This is a Snoopy tattoo. It signifies that you're probably not going to have much trouble defeating me.
Yeah, I think then cherry blossom guy's going to step up like, guys, I got this.
Fierce as tiger. I mean, the tiger, yeah. I mean, safeguard against devils, illness, and bad fate. Basically just like, fuck you, bad fate. I got a tiger on me. Get the hell out of here. The guardians of Buddha, the Fu dogs, also known as the lions of Buddha, are protectors of Buddhist stupas. If you've ever been to a Japanese temple, you surely observed the figures of Fu dogs, which appear in twos and are known as Komainu. The beast is actually a lion.
Fucking Fu dogs.
Fu dogs.
Well, they known
They're
by
actually
9
supposed to be
different
lions, but whatever. Anyway, they signify protection against all the perils and failures and blah blah blah.
All right, so probably another dude you probably don't want to go after. Like if he's got
this
Fu
guy
dog
probably.
on him.
I'm just gonna guess based on this, you don't want to fuck with this guy either.
Yeah.
No, I think this is going to be like the guy that wants to appear edgy but isn't really. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because
Namakubi.
dude, you're going way over the top with this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's supposed to symbolize fearlessness, strength, and surprisingly admiration for an opponent. It can be acknowledged as a signal. Nothing states, don't mess with me, like a severed head tattooed on your body. The leitmotif has traditional roots in samurai custom of head hunting in battles.
I bet like the biggest pussies get that motif.
You know? You think so?
They're trying to project too hard. You know what I mean? Like these other dudes has got like tigers or like fucking lily pads and goddamn cherry blossoms and shit all over them, fish. And this motherfucker's like, yeah, I'm a badass Yakuza too. Look at my severed head.
Severed fucking head.
Peony flower?
It's seen here on a fucking like middle-aged white woman. Why?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I'm guessing not too many get this. It's supposed to typify masculine and nonchalant attitude. All right, some other flower. Chrysanthemum is representation of the imperial family, estimated to be the stellar flower with its petals scattering outward like flames. Blah, blah, blah. They like a lot of flowery stuff. I'm more into the tigers and dragons and snakes and shit myself. Maple leaves, another flora tattoo. Illustrative of the passage of time. These tattoos typically represent the leaves entangled in a breeze or drifting in the water.
I bet those get like mistaken for pot leaves a lot.
They look like pot leaves.
Bro, yeah, 420.
Of course, the lotus, bound in Buddhist doctrine, signifies the strains of life.
It's the depressive Yakuza.
It's like, I'm fucking...
Put a
life
lotus
sucks. What do you
on me.
want?
Fucking life is a grind, man.
Elemental water. This denotes change, compliance, and survival. Seems like the pragmatic Yakuza.
Seems like a lot of people with water on them might have like a pinky missing, you know?
Shark fish tattoo. This does not look like a Yakuza tattoo.
This is bullshit. This website is fucking just filling in the blanks now.
Yep. They can't even find actual Japanese people with these, so fuck that.
Like very few of these have actually been on Japanese people. Most of them have been on white people.
Here's Samurai Ankoi. Tattoo is an amalgamation of, it represents the two things together. We get it. So here's a 73-year-old tattoo artist who is a legend in Japan. Tattooed a bunch of different Yakuza.
I see.
I'm just going to kind of like skip through because we can just kind of admire some of his work and shit. Probably won't be around for too much longer.
Who knows, dude? He's Japanese. They live for
That's
fucking
true.
ever.
There's some of his subjects there.
They don't look too rough and tumble, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I can't say I'm too intimidated, but I guess you give them all guns and shit.
Yeah, just give them guns and swords and shit. They'll intimidate you then. That guy has like a fat bitch. What's that symbolize?
I don't know.
He likes them thick, dude.
They like some thick.
Yeah.
He wants everyone to know his fucking preference.
This dude's is pretty cool. He's got some kind of like fucking god of the underworld kind of dude looking over the fucking scroll of life or whatever the fuck. And there's like a devil chilling above his shoulder, just like looking down.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that one. Dude, I want to book this guy and then tell him to like give me like just the most fucking lame ass stereotypical tattoo. Like, I want a heart with a dagger through it that says mom. This guy probably wouldn't even tattoo me. Let's be honest.
Just be like, get out, Gaijin, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I highly doubt this dude would tattoo you.
Probably super nationalistic. Yeah, we saw that guy a little earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting fucking style, though. Yeah, all the blood when you get tattooed, all the blood. And always, I guess it's just kind of interesting thing. Like, I guess he's mixing the paints too, or is that just like
that is just a way to clean it off? That's what it looks like. There's a lot of excess ink and shit when a tattoo is done. Scrub it off.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, this is something they definitely do. They actually have like these sheets you can put on, but yeah, that definitely helps heal the tattoo faster.
Whoa.
That one's pretty dope. The guy it's on is pretty doughy, though.
Yeah, look at him. It's pretty hard to have that much tattoo. He needs to like tattoo his face or something.
Or just like, I mean, dude, if I was gonna get tattoos like this, I'd hit the gym a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just a smidgen.
Because this is like, it looks very strange on a dude that is like just wimpy looking. You know?
Yeah, because he looks like an accountant.
Yeah.
I guess he's not.
Oh, damn,
I'm assuming
he was working on a white dude. Go back.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Let me see. I think I saw one. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
He's working on a white guy.
Yeah, so you guys just go in there.
It says the majority of his clients are now foreign visitors.
See, we had him all wrong. He was like, fuck yeah, I'll definitely
I'll do it.
15,000 yen per hour or $140. It's about $140 an hour. That's actually not
too bad.
That's actually not that bad.
I mean, the dude's struggling because there's really not too many Yakuza left. There's only like 29,000 in the country at this point.
Sure.
Anyway.
But there's millions of fucking Americans that want to pretend that they're Yakuza, so.
They might be organized criminals, but they also care, you guys.
Organized criminals with the hearts of
the
gold.
Yakuza care, Paul.
Looks like this Yakuza on the left cares about eating a whole lot of ramen.
Yeah.
So after the 1995 Kobe earthquake, government workers were slow in reaching the afflicted areas.
Shocking.
And the 300,000 or so survivors, Yakuza groups stepped in quickly and in many cases were the first on the ground. So the Yakuza were actually the first to respond to the crisis before the government even fucking knew what was going on. Yakuza groups have sent trucks from the Tokyo and Kobe regions to deliver food, water, blankets, and toiletries to evacuation centers in northeast Japan, the area devastated by the March 11th, 2011 earthquake and tsunami, which have left 27,000 dead and missing. Critics of the Yakuza claim that the only reason they do the good deeds is to win the trust of the citizenry they normally terrorize over that of the police or elected officials. Well, yeah. But that's the same reason the government does that shit, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Another belief is that the Yakuza do these deeds in order to gain contracts for their construction companies and the massive rebuilding that takes place after natural disasters. I'm sure that's also a fringe benefit. Take a look at this fucking tsunami. This shit... Watch the devastating fucking power of the tsunami.
Oh God, I remember the tsunami. I remember watching, like, there's tons of crazy video of the tsunami.
Yeah, it's insane. It just happened so quickly, too. These people are like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, dude, it's just going to start carrying everything in the city away.
God, look at all those cars. Just rushing through that building.
Yeah, dude, this city is fucked. There's still people down
just
there in those
away.
cars.
Bye-bye, building. Oh, this is just, I mean... Even if you're on the roof and you're like, okay, well, I think I'm going to make it.
I mean, you see that it's carrying buildings right off, too.
I mean, yeah, you see that, but it's just like... I mean, not only that, just like the fucking sheer devastation. This water is like, it's going to take so long to recede.
Yeah, just carrying cars away. A bunch of people on this roof just like looking at this shit unfold.
What else can you do? You know...
Not much.
Against the tsunami, all you can... I mean, like, they're in the best possible position. They're high up, and they can just go like, oh, fuck.
So you might be wondering how the Yakuza have dealt with COVID-19, huh?
How?
Coronavirus couldn't have come at a worse time for Japan's Yakuza gangs. The centuries-old Japanese criminal network was already fighting for its survival before the pandemic.
Damn.
Yakuza gangs are carrying out coronavirus-related fraud and have increased the price of street drugs as they struggle to make money during the pandemic. Experts on Japanese organized crime have told Sky News. COVID-19 has affected the operations of the centuries-old criminal network at a time when it was already fighting for its survival. The Yakuza, a collection of separate gangs, much like the Italian-American mafia, has reportedly carried out humanitarian work during the crisis in efforts to improve its public image. Japan's government has not imposed a nationwide lockdown, but large numbers of the population, including Yakuza members, have opted to stay indoors. Members of the organized crime syndicate make their money through shinogi, a Japanese term which roughly translates as hustle, and includes illegal activities such as drug dealing, prostitution, blackmail, and protection rackets. Jake Addleston, a Tokyo-based investigative reporter who has been covering the Yakuza for more than 25 years, told Sky News that younger members are having to find new ways to make enough money to pay up their bosses at each month. He said Yakuza members, like everyone else, have decided to stay home. This means they can't collect their usual protection money from clubs, bars, and dens of ill repute. One of the things they have been doing is selling high volumes of masks at high prices to small retail businesses, but it hasn't been very profitable for the gangs.
Well, it's harder to get. I mean, with all these logistical problems, I mean, like these legitimate shipping routes are used to smuggle drugs oftentimes. So it's like it's more difficult to get the drugs. I mean, obviously, there's a chance you sell drugs to somebody that might fucking kill you. So you're kind of like, I don't know about that. And coupled with the fact that Japan has a very rapidly aging population, so I'm sure there's not a huge generation of young people to even replace the aging members.
So basically, this reporter who's reporting on this says the gangs operate like franchises where the lower down pay money up to the more senior figures. The leaders have been considering not asking the younger members to cough up money each month, but this has not been decided yet.
Something tells me
precedent.
Something tells me they're going to go ahead and ask for that money every month.
Yeah, like, there ain't no fucking way, dude. It's organized crime. I don't care how fucking if it's on its dying breath or whatever.
Reminds me of
gas.
You remember that scene in Donnie Brasco where times are tight and people are like bringing in fucking parking meters that they ripped off and busting them open to get the coins out of it?
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit,
yeah, right.
to try and make their numbers or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. But yeah, it's not been great. I guess it's not really been great for anybody, but, Man, I'm kind of sad for that, dude. I'm sad that the Yakuza are having a hard time because of COVID. It hit them extra hard, dude. Their usual grifts all kind of dried up. They're you know what? But they may come up. It may end up being a silver lining type of deal. You know what I mean? Like this period of strife may lead to a brilliant Yakuza inventing the next big grift. You know what I mean?
Oh, it could be.
Maybe they were too tied to the old ways and they discover some new racket that just brings in tons and tons of money.
Well, let's learn about a real fucked up story. This is the terrible murder of Junko Furuta, who lived 44 days in hell.
Junko? I don't think
Junko Furuta.
Is it Unico?
Hey,
it's
definitely not
Junko Furuta.
It might be Yunko. I don't know. I'm going to say Junko,
I'm
though.
guessing it's not Junko the clown.
Junko.
Why wouldn't it be? Junk doesn't have the same meaning in Japan that it does here.
Junko.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's Yunko.
All right. I'll say Yunko, but I don't think...
Or maybe Junko, but not
Junko.
Junko. It's
Junko.
Junko.
DJ.
Why not?
It's Junko.
Wait, why wouldn't it be?
I just don't
Why
think
do you doubt it? Just because junk has a particular meaning here? All right, hold on.
No, I just don't think that's how you would say it.
You're a fucking idiot, Scotty. All right, let's see. I'm going to see what the fuck they say.
Today's video is going to be...
Well, she's not going to know the
Yeah,
program.
she's not.
How to say Junko?
She's no expert. Yeah.
Pronounce correctly these Japanese names.
Lay it out.
Manga series. How do you say
Junko.
it? In Japanese, this is pronounced as
Anyway. This story is horrible and gruesome one.
Junko.
Junko. All right.
Junko.
Junko.
All right. All murders are terrible, but the murder of Junko Furuta takes it to the whole other level of terror. The hardship Junko had to endure before her life was snuffed out was unbelievably cruel. It's the kind of crime that makes you wonder how such horrible human beings could exist. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, shit. What did the Yakuza do this time?
How could 4 high school boys imprison someone in such a hell? Perhaps more importantly, how could any criminal justice system let them off as easily as they were let off? It will shock you what little retribution was handed out for the brutal slaying of Junko. So here's all just basically like she was like a good girl, didn't drink, didn't smoke, loved by her classmates.
Well, I mean, I assume her fucking high school classmates were little like proto Yakuzas, right?
Yeah. So the high school bully, Miyano, tried to fucking hit on her, but she was like, no. He was not just the school bully. He was a known affiliate of the Yakuza.
Uh-oh.
The Yakuza are essentially the gangsters of Japan, a huge crime. We know. We're learning about them right now. So Miyano was like, fuck that. So on November 25th, 1988, as Junko was biking home from her Baito part-time job, a random boy assailed her. Junko fell off her bike as the boy ran away, and Miyano fortuitously across the street ran over to help her. Miyano offered to walk her home. Unsuspecting, Junko accepted the offer. Little did she know, Miyano and three high school friends were completing their plan to capture her. The four boys responsible for the capture and subsequent torture of Junko Furuta are Hiroshi Miyano, Nobuharu Minato, and Kamasuke Yo, and Yasushi Watanabe. Here they all are here.
Bunch of
For some
fucking
reason,
Yakuza
Blurred,
scum.
but not Yo Kamasaku.
Yeah, I guess this guy he didn't warrant the censorship.
Goddamn peddler and gambler class scum. Look what they done did.
So first, Miyano raped her repeatedly in an abandoned warehouse, but he and his friends decided it would be more fun to completely kidnap her. They brought her to Nobuharu's house, and there subjected her to even more brutality. The boys forced Junko to call her parents and tell them she was running away and not to look for her because she was doing well.
Ugh.
Junko's next 44 days were filled with unimaginable pain. 100 different men, mostly other Yakuza members, would rape Junko up to over 500 times. She was raped, sodomized, beaten, and starved. They amused themselves by forcing her to masturbate in front of them and inserting different objects into her genitals. So these are the same guys that, will show up for the disaster relief like, hey, guys, we care about the community too.
But this is what they're doing, like when there's not a disaster on.
Yeah, so this is the not so fun side of the Yakuza.
And did
like
they get out
they're
of it?
involved in drug dealing and racketeering and blah blah blah. But
well, human trafficking too.
Yeah, but you could kind of like sanitize it a little bit.
It's almost impersonal when you talk about it that way.
When you don't have the fucking specific example. I mean, like this girl is basically fucking subjected to 44 days of like insane torture,
rape and torture,
escalating fucking disgusting shit. Scissors in the vagina, iron bar, exploding light bulb, chicken skewers, roasting needles, fireworks. Her internal organs were subjected to so much trauma she eventually lost control of urinary and bowel movements. When the boys got too disgusted, and men got too disgusted to continue assaulting her, the severity of beatings increased. So basically, like when they like destroyed her to the point of her no longer being desirable as a sex object, they just abused her.
Yeah, this is like just like inhumane to the fucking maximum.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Among the other 6 things involved in this case, the parents of Miyano knew about the girl being held captive in their house. At first, they had been convinced that Junko was Miyano's girlfriend, but when Junko begged them to help her escape, they became fully aware of the horror that was taking place. The Minatos were too afraid of reprisal from the Yakuza and would later blame Junko for Nobuhara's imprisonment.
That's so fucked.
Junko's torture continued. They urinated on her, hung her from the ceiling, used her as a punching bag. I mean, just like whatever. We don't need to get into every fucking thing they did, but
this is all horrible.
It was an insane amount of just like disgusting shit. One day, a boy who had participated in the rape sessions felt guilty, so he told his parents what they had done. His parents called the police and sent them to Minato's household. When police arrived, the Minatos acted surprised, so they had no idea what they're talking about.
Is there like a horribly raped victim in like in your house? What? No.
The Minatos even went as far as inviting them inside in a ruse to show they had nothing to hide. Foolishly, the policeman decided it must be true the Minatos were guiltless if they were inviting them in the house, so they didn't even do it. They're just like, oh, well,
all right.
Guilty people wouldn't say that we could look in the
come
house.
on in. She's right back there. Oh, they're innocent.
So they said, if the police had actually investigated at this point, Junko might have survived the ordeal. In January 4th, 1989, the boys challenged Junko to a game of mahjong. Even in a brutalized state, Junko beat the boys, but this sent them into a rage. They poured gasoline all over her and set her on fire again. Junko went into a convulsive seizure, and the boys thought she was faking. She died a few hours later. In order to get rid of Junko's body, the boys put her corpse in a 44-gallon drum, filled it with cement, and discarded it in Tokyo. It wasn't until about a year later that the authorities located Junko. One day when they were questioning Miyano about a different girl, Miyano thought they had evidence about Junko and confessed to what they had done to her prematurely.
What an idiot, dude. Oh, good thing he was.
Shockingly, because the boys were underage by Japanese standards, Hiroshi 18, Joe 18, Nobuharu 16, Watanabe 17, they were given lenient sentences. Miyano received a 20-year sentence and others only 7. By now, all 4 boys have been released from jail and have not proven to have turned their lives around. Whatever. Out of the money that was ordered to be given to the family of Junko Furuta, 425,000 in restorations by the Mr. and Mrs. Minato. 0 cents actually went to the Furuta family. The Minatos ended up giving the money from selling their houses to the Nobuharu. Watanabe and Joe were then released from jail. The men used the money to party. Miyano had still been in jail at the time, and his mother went out of her way to desecrate Junko's gravesite. With inconceivable audacity, Miyano's mother blamed Junko for her son being in jail. How on earth
if you
somebody
hadn't have been
committed
his fucking rape captive, he never would have had anything to kidnap and rape, you know?
Yeah,
you bitch.
It's like true victim blaming there.
How dare
I know,
you
right?
be out there with your rape bait ass, walking around being a fucking normal woman, so my son has to fucking kidnap you and brutally rape you for 40 days, you whore.
I remember
How
100
do you even get in that fucking mindset, dude?
100 members of the Yakuza had participated in this at one point or another, and a bunch of other high school boys as well.
I mean, I'm sure that community was probably just a well-known secret at that point.
I mean, like too many people know about it to where you can say like, wow, no one knew about this going on. It's pretty much like a lot of people knew this was going on, and a lot of people participated in it. About Yakuza in America. So the Yakuza operate in the U.S. mainly in places with a high number of Japanese immigrants. New York, Hawaii, and California are where the Yakuza are most common in the U.S., almost exclusively in Hawaii, by the way. Hawaii is basically their hub.
It makes
where
sense.
They use like a smuggling hub for methamphetamines and guns and all kinds of other stuff.
Right.
Mostly the gun smuggling is mostly from us to Japan. I think 33% of Japanese like handguns that are confiscated have their origin from America.
A lot of them are smart motherfuckers, dude. Like, yeah, we got to set up a base of operations. Where should it be? Hawaii sounds nice. Let's go to Hawaii.
I mean,
they
it's just the
commit the same
closest like U.S. like developed U.S. territory near them. So
how beneficial?
I mean, it's a state. It's more than a territory.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like,
every state is a territory.
I gotcha. They commit the same crimes in the U.S. as they do overseas. Smuggling and trafficking and various, activities. The Yakuza does not operate openly in the U.S. like they do in Japan, making criminals much harder to catch for U.S. law enforcement. The Department of Treasury issued a lengthy statement regarding Yakuza in 2018, specifically targeting them to protect the U.S. financial system. So here is that press release. Treasury sanctions individuals and companies associated with Japan's major organized crime syndicate, the Yakuza. Today, the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control took action against 2 companies and 4 individuals in Japan associated with the Yamaguchi Gumi, the largest and most prominent Japanese Yakuza syndicate. 2 Kobe, Japan-based companies, Yamaki KK and Toyo Shinyo Jitsugo KK, along with 4 individuals. I'm not going to read all their names. Were designated pursuant to Executive Order 13581, which targets significant transnational criminal organizations and their supporters. These efforts are designed to protect the U.S. financial system from the malign influence of TCOs and to expose the companies and individuals who are supporting them and acting on their behalf. So, like, Yakuza, there might not be too many of them left these days, about 29,000 operating, I think. Rough estimate, of course. There's not like specific numbers, but 30,000, but still a powerful enough force to warrant, attention from the Department of the Treasury, because
29,000 people engaged in organized crime. That's a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a lot
And
of
most of these
drugs and human trafficking and shit.
Oh, and most of the stuff has gone international now. I mean, like, remember we covered a news story about how like these people were using these anonymous networks to communicate, and it was actually set up like the CIA and some Australian security organization run an operation. So, I mean, these things go well beyond our borders. I mean, the Yakuza are definitely involved in international drug trafficking. I mean, like you said, like they get most of their guns from America. So they're going to have these international contacts. So it makes sense they're going to operate here. And I'm sure they're going to operate in any major country.
So as it says here, the Yakuza, like any other criminal organization, engages in money laundering using front companies with legitimate industries, including construction, real estate, and finance to hide illicit proceeds. Yakuza acts globally and has relationships with criminal affiliates in Asia, Europe, and the Americas. In the United States, the Yakuza has been known to be involved in money laundering and drug trafficking. To date, OFAC has designated 21 individuals, 5 criminal syndicates, 2 subsidiary gangs, and 2 companies associated with the Yakuza. This action marks the first time Yakuza-owned companies have been targeted by the OFAC. So yeah, pretty fucking interesting that they could fucking their influence can be felt far and wide, even here.
They must be pretty good at like what they do.
Well, another thing I read about the Yakuza in this research was that, like you think of people, Yakuza shaking down, business people as being like, oh, that's like they're targeting like small local businesses. Well, a lot of times the Yakuza actually target fucking big business.
More money.
Yeah, more money there. And like what they do is they own enough stock to show up at like the exchanges and stuff. And they fucking shake down big businessmen and fucking make them scared.
Nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, if a bunch of Yakuza show up and it's like, we own 20% of your company and we're going to be here all the time, we're not going anywhere.
Well, they're typically not going to buy. They buy like basically whatever the minimum is to be there.
Okay, I see.
And then they show up and they scare the shit out of everybody.
I think they bought like large portions of these companies so that.
I'm sure the Yakuza have significant interest in some. But I'm talking about their shakedown operations of like big businessmen. They'll like shake down stockholders and like other shareholders in companies, and they'll basically use their presence to intimidate people into fucking
Well, yeah, I mean, if people show up, I mean, there's a signature of like the mafia. It's like they're going to show up and be involved in your life. Where it's like, even if you're like they're not planning on killing you, it's like that's going to cross your mind if the fucking Yakuza show up. Like, hey, we want to talk to you.
So let's say you're like a rich shareholder that's like shows up at a company shareholders meeting, right? And you're like, yeah, I've got 10,000 shares in Yamagachi Group or whatever the fuck. And the Yakuza show up and like, oh shit, there's some Yakuza here. And then they come up to you and they're like, hey, we got this great proposition for you. Got this great deal, blah, blah, blah. And they basically fucking outline a shakedown operation. You're like, yeah, you're going to give us this much money. And in exchange, you're going to get basically like, we're going to,
well,
they're not going to do anything for you.
Nothing unfortunate happens to you
right,
while
it's
you're
basically
going
like,
about your
we're gonna make
fucking
sure
rich guy business. You know what I mean?
They have some based like flimsy pretext of like what they're going to do for you, but it's very clear to you it's just a shakedown.
Right.
They just want money.
I mean, there's just 2 ways these things operate. Either you're brought into the scam or the scam is taking place on you. That's it.
And basically it's just like, it's basically like, hey, look at the muscle we have. We're going to fuck you up if you don't just give us the money. It's worth it to just give us the money. They never make it like too high where you're going to be like, fuck that. I'll just hire my own security or something. They're going to make it where it's like, it's easier to just pay them.
Yeah, pay them to go away.
So what about the modern day Yakuza? As we've said a few times, their membership's in serious decline. Being targeted by new laws across the globe. They have a rapidly aging membership, not really attracting a lot of like young, new fucking Yakuza. That's probably why we saw that soft, doughy guy earlier.
Yeah. I mean, they like the Yakuza tattoos, but pretty much nothing else about the lifestyle.
And unable to find fresh blood, the Yakuza has dropped from a height of 185,000 members to less than 30,000. With rising police numbers and the low crime rate, there is no need for individuals or businesses to desire or accept protection rackets. Basically, like
Japan's too safe.
There's not even enough like tough guys to scare the shit out of people anymore. Legal gambling has become less of a problem now that Japan has a lottery and sports betting and even poker. So Japan has put a lot of its gambling industries. Hey, when you legalize an industry, you get rid of the black market. Holy shit, that's crazy. Maybe we could take a lesson from that. I don't know. Sports betting, even poker. So there's not enough crime for them to do protection rackets. And apparently there's not enough of them to keep crime up high enough to make people scared enough to fucking fall for the scam.
Yeah, of course.
They're gambling operations, it's like Japan. There's not as much demand for that because Japan has legalized several venues for gamblers to do what they do.
Sure.
A lot of people in Japan believe gambling as a whole will be decriminalized soon. So why not? It's decriminalized in other parts of the world to not disastrous effect usually. Still people with gambling problems. I guess there's still some deleterious effects, but not nearly as bad as it being a black market.
Having a ban on gambling in Japan, if that's what it is, I'm not sure exactly, but the way they're describing it sounds like that. I don't think it's prevented gambling from occurring.
Their prostitution racket has also been undercut because sex work in Japan is now allowed through Fashion Health. Basically, this scam where you go to a parlor and get your dick sucked for health.
They're like,
right.
Yeah. It's like I need some health to my dick.
My penis health is very low.
It's like, yes, I am a health expert. I will now suck your cock. You feel better.
Turns out I need my balls drained, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything to make me feel better, but then having you suck my fucking cock turned out to be the solution. Another black market been made into a legal market, and the Yakuza are just like, what the fuck? Where are we supposed to make our money? And in Japan, paying off the Yakuza is now officially criminalized. It's getting much harder to threaten or intimidate judges because, Yakuza power is waning. Government power.
Yeah, their power is waning. So, that's really what this has to do with. Like, the organization hasn't kept up with modern times in Japan. They haven't found any new rackets to attract a younger group of people. And they've criminalized and decriminalized so much of the things that made them money. It's like even paying the Yakuza. It's like someone's like, oh shit, I might get in trouble just for paying these motherfuckers off.
So when we read that COVID article about how the Yakuza are already kind of struggling to survive this new world, that's the kind of stuff they're talking. That's the pressure they're under. Basically, like all of their avenues of revenue are being cut off, and their membership is aging and declining.
Yeah, they're slowly being strangled out of existence. It's clear.
And it's crazy because, they've existed since the fucking 1700s. And it looks like, it might not be for too much longer.
I don't know, man. I have faith that the Yakuza are going to figure it out, man.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is just a time when the weak are weeded out so that a new strong can arise. So, Yakuza boss first to be sentenced to death in Japan. Satoru Nomura, the 74-year-old head of the Kudo Kai Yakuza Syndicate in Fukuyaka Prefecture of Japan, was handed the death penalty on Wednesday for ordering 4 civilian attacks, including 1 murder. It is reportedly the first time that the head of a Yakuza group, an organized crime syndicate in Japan, has been sentenced to death. Nomura's second in command, Fumio Tanyo, probably not saying that right, was given a life sentence. Prosecutors had requested a death sentence for Nomura and a life sentence for Tanyo on top of a $180,000 fine. In all 4 attacks, the direct assailants and co-conspirators have already been convicted, so the main purpose of Nomura's trial was to establish whether the crimes were carried out with his approval. This is yet another sign of the
that's
decline
a crackdown
of
there, dude. That's what you call a crackdown.
Because historically, the Oyubuns have been insulated from the repercussions of their actions. There's like a million fall guys in between them and any repercussions.
Well, it's also clear their political power is waning.
I mean, that's exactly.
If they had a lot more political power, this probably would have been stopped. This probably never would have got to this point. They even said here in the article that there was no direct evidence that he actually ordered the attacks.
Right.
So this is basically just like they're weeding them out of society. The government has just made a clear distinction here. That's like, look, we're railroading you, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is exactly how fucking, once again, the Italian American mafia handles things as well. It's like the big boss people insulate themselves by having a bunch of goons that give orders to a bunch of other goons, and by the time the actual deed is done, the boss is nowhere even near anybody who did it. You know what I mean?
So he's somewhere else doing some other shit.
The Yakuza actually at this point in Japanese society suffer a lot of persecutions, and it's not Japanese society has made it pretty unappealing to be a Yakuza. They've made it very difficult for them to run their protection rackets, as we already discussed. They're having extreme difficulty finding recruits, as we've already discussed. They can't carry out assault on people at will, as police are now pretty much on every corner of Japan. They're not allowed to sign up for phones.
Huh?
They have difficulty getting hotel rooms. Most hotels will not give out rooms to Yakuza. Most apartments will not rent to Yakuza. If someone is caught substituting for them, both parties go to jail.
Fuck, dude.
The populace is openly speaking out against the Yakuza.
I mean, it just seems like everything's turned against them. Like, it's just bad. It's like literally like, oh, someone will like say they get a straw person to go in, like get an apartment or get a phone for me. It's like they find out it's Yakuza, they both end up going to fucking prison.
So if the Yakuza person, if I'm like, I'm Yakuza, so I can't get this place,
you get it.
I'm going to send in you to go get it for me. And if we're found out, we both go to fucking jail for it.
It's a bad time to be a Yakuza in Japan. I'll say that much.
So it's not like, if there was a day when these motherfuckers had their fill and could do whatever they wanted and go anywhere and mess with anybody, those days are over. They're pretty much like social pariahs, have trouble fucking doing any, like, making money, have trouble finding a place to live, have trouble finding a place to stay, have trouble fucking signing up for a phone.
Dude, who would have thought that globalism, another fucking victim of that, would be the Yakuza?
The poor Yakuza.
Because that's what it really sounds like to me. They just did not adapt quickly enough to like the new scams of the day and all the young people who want to be scammers and criminals and shit. They're like, I'm going a different direction. Fuck the Yakuza.
So this is a ex-Yakuza member. We can just kind of skip around his interview here. He kind of talks about what it was like.
So why did you join?
I mean, we just couldn't read it. I worked as a carpenter since junior high school. When I was 18, I had a heart disease.
Ooh.
And my back got strained. I couldn't work as a carpenter anymore. At that time, I wanted to be a financier. Then I jumped into the finance shop, and it was run by the leader of the Yakuza.
Shocking.
I've been in a motorcycle gang and doing in a lot of fights. The leader of the Yakuza was a famous violent faction of Fukuyaka. I joined the Yakuza because I admired him. So basically, he saw this alpha male dude that was had all the power in the world. This guy couldn't do the job he wanted to do. His life was pretty much fucked from several fucking angles. Couldn't do contractor work anymore. His ideas of being a financier were pretty much a non-starter. He sees this tough alpha male dude that has all this power and money and shit. He's like, yeah, I could be like that guy. So misconception of the Yakuza. The world of the Yakuza looks gorgeous. There's an image of the Yakuza as being rich and being able to make love to any woman they want. But basically, we all start as apprentices. Yeah, low man on the totem pole.
You have to learn the scams.
Have to follow someone else, learn the manners and etiquette. For example, there's a proper way to hold a tray. We learn how to hold the tray, where to place the tea, where to place the wet towel, how to fold it, and so on.
So you're basically like when you go in, you're just like the butt boy. Basically, you're like the fucking gopher for whatever Yakuza needs something done.
Yeah, the Yakuza world has to be extremely clean. The toilets have to be super clean. You're cleaning toilets and shit.
I don't fucking blame them.
For example, let's say the other Yakuza comes to visit us, and when they see the bathroom, you can tell the true color of that Yakuza. They can tell if the orders are being given properly by whether or not they are well cleaned or not, or whether or not the shoes in the doorway are in order. They'll think they can beat us. I was about 20 years old at the time. I didn't understand those things. So basically, like, this is all this stuff is like flex, so that if like rivals come in and see, like, yes, they run a clean, tidy establishment and everything's in order.
It's Jordan Peterson, clean your room, bucko.
And if you don't have that, they're like, they are weak.
Yeah, dude, keep your gang clean, bucko.
They are disorderly.
They're gonna come in and fucking kill you.
We can easily defeat them.
Look at that toilet. Shit stain right there. They're weak.
It's like, unflushed turd in the toilet. We attack at dawn. One day, I finished cleaning the bathroom sloppily and reported to my boss. Then the boss started to lick the urinal like this. Gross. I thought, what? I would think what too. If you're told to clean the toilet bowl so you can lick it, maybe you end up with a mess. But he really did lick it.
Fuck.
And he told me, next time you're going to figure out if you can get me to lick the toilet bowl or not. Think about it yourself. After that, I cleaned it really well. It's a very unusual. That's a very unusual fucking way to do that.
Man, yeah. Make him lick it.
Yeah. Make the dude. Yeah, like, you know.
Like, yeah,
but I guess
I told you to clean this toilet bowl so you can lick it. So lick it.
Give
right
it a
here
lick.
In front of me. Lick all over that motherfucker. That would have taught him a lesson. He got down and licked it.
Yeah. He's like, ow.
I just realized if it made his boss lick piss, it was probably not going to turn out too well for him.
That was like my mom trying to get me to quit smoking when I was 16 by forcing me to smoke a cigarette with my little sisters. It was just like, what is this?
Yeah, the thing that the parents are supposed to is make you smoke like a bunch of cigarettes so you get sick.
No, she just made me sit and smoke a cigarette with her and all my little sisters smoking a cigarette as well. And she's like, see, PJ, so what you want? All your little sisters to be smoking cigarettes. I was like, no, I
That'd be cool.
I don't give them any cigarettes, Ma.
Yeah, you did. This is him explaining how the Yakuza make money. Not getting paid a salary, working on your own with the Yakuza coat of arms. There's a monthly payment to the head of the organization. We do a lot of things to earn money. When I first became the Yakuza, all I did was blackmail. When I slowly figured out the rules of society, I worked as a temporary help business in the construction industry. I'd send people to different places, and then I'd go in as an intermediary and take money. But most of us were brokering and selling methamphetamine and things they had stolen.
Yeah, like fencing. Yeah.
Most people do that kind of thing. I'd commit a case and then I'd go to jail for about 5 years. When I came back from prison, I was dealing with women in a brothel to get money. In that time, it was impossible to run a brothel without the gangsters getting involved. Otherwise, the shop would surely have been closed down. Now it can be run regardless, but at the time, it wasn't possible at all. You know, it's amazing how Japan has kind of like, it sounds like, figured out that the best way to not have a bunch of gangsters is to basically push them out of every industry that they make their money in.
Yeah.
Because they make their money on the fringes of fucking society.
If you legalize and regulate something, there's no longer a black market for it, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, it's crazy because all the gangsters in this fucking society, it's like drugs, fucking prostitution, etc. Japan pretty much legalized prostitution, pretty much legalized fucking gambling, which previously had been illicit.
Yeah, the only thing that's still illegal is the drugs.
Drugs. Still illegal there, still illegal here. Maybe it's time to fucking learn on that one too, you know? Seems pretty fucking easy to me. But yeah, Yakuza, pretty interesting. In decline. Not sure if they'll be around for too much longer. Maybe in fucking 20 years, it'll be about the fall of the Yakuza.
Dude, you know what you need to set up? Yakuza tourism. Like, look, see them while you can.
I mean, that's pretty much what you saw at the beginning, right? Bunch of people gawking at these Yakuza.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, look at us, man. We're Yakuzas. Yeah, just start doing like a Yakuza tour.
Yeah, it's the Yakuza show.
We'll get a bunch of weebs and be like, look, this is your last chance to see a real-life Yakuza.
Yeah, come tour America and charge an insane amount of money to hang out with weebs. You know they'll pay it.
Now step right up. Don't be shy. We have over 20 Yakuza here. Look at their tattoos. Admire these men, for these are the last of their kind, going extinct in the wild.
Go buy that Yakuza drink.
And get a t-shirt while you're at it, too.
They should probably just move over here, like move to the mainland. You know what I mean? It seems like Japan's not a friendly place for the Yakuza anymore. Move over here, you know?
Yeah, come here. We got plenty of stupid black markets you guys can fucking take control of.
Yep.
Yeah, why not? Fuck.
All right, that's Yakuza. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Deep bad fight. Deep bad fight.